Thank you everyone for joining today. We're very excited to show off our ERP toolkit for you. KS, we are a NetSuite focused company. That's all we do is NetSuite. Our goal is to help our clients really take full advantage of NetSuite and to develop a really long-term partnership. First of all, one of the things that we are big on is Suite apps. Suite apps are basically small apps built on top of NetSuite. They take advantage of NetSuite data and existing functionality and just bring you new features. We currently have 7 Suite apps out on the market, but for today, we're going to completely focus on our ERP toolkit.
Our ERP toolkit really came out of about 25 years of ERP implementation experience. And what we found is there were several more utility type functions that we were doing with each implementation. So we decided to package those together for our use. And then as we got to thinking about it, we thought, well, we could actually make this a more useful Suite app for our customers and add in some additional functionality. So the first thing I'd like to show here is our homepage. We have a dashboard that's been customized with some of our portlets that are part of our ERP toolkit. This one here that you'll see is our KES calendar portlet. And what this allows you to do is, in a calendar format, display information on a dashboard. So here we have an out-of-the-box one for invoices due. And we also have some color coding so that any invoices that are past due appear in red. And this is completely customizable, so any data that you can come up with in a saved search that has a date, you can have that in a custom dashboard as well. Our next feature is the KES iframe portlet. What this allows you to do is embed either a NetSuite page or any other external page into your dashboard. If you had a company portal, you could have that. If you were interested in stocks or something like that and you want to have a stock ticker on your dashboard, you could display that as well. Our next portlet that we have is a pivot portlet. And so this one is also based on a safe search. And we have some standard out-of-the-box ones here. This one I'm showing is vendor bills by month, but we also have a statistical account summary by month. And what this does is it takes the standard save search data, which is just in the list format, and it does this little pivot. So we have it pivoting on the date here, and we can see each vendor, the month that they're in, and how much we owe that vendor. And then this also does support drilling in to some of the records. So then this one here is going to drill into the vendor if we click view. And then similar to our pivot portlet, we have a list portlet. We developed this one to overcome many limitations that we found in the standard dashboard lists. If you've seen it before, you know that there's limitations on how far out you can scroll to the right. So you can see I can easily scroll over to the right. And then this also supports pagination, so you can quickly go through the pages. And you can even do some searching here. And then I can also export this to Excel or CSV. A premium feature that we've added is some charting. And so this is a very simple chart. I just created some statistical journals for my bank account balance, revenue, and expenses. And these are by period. So then we can see a trend in this graph. And this is also customizable. This chart was set up as a line, but if I want to see it as a bar chart, I can do that as well. And then real easily, you can right click inside here. You can copy image, save image. So if you need to embed that in, say, a monthly sales report or something like that, you could easily do that yourself. So these are the nice kind of visual features that we've added, but me being more of a technical guy, I like to dig into some of the utility functions that we have. So one of the features that we have in our toolkit is a mass update for deleting records. So if you're familiar with mass updates, this is a pretty powerful tool where basically you can define some search criteria and then based on that criteria perform some sort of function. And what we found in implementations or even just day-to-day business, say you have custom records from another system coming in as some sort of integration and you need to clean those up on a periodic basis, you could use this feature to do that. So I can easily jump back, edit my filter, and say I want to get rid of anything that has an internal ID less than or equal to 75. I can view these records here. Yes, I do want to delete all those, and I'll perform this mass update. And so what this mass update delete records is going to go through each one and just delete those. Another mass update feature that we have is our edit save. So this one is useful for triggering scripts and workflows. You could easily come in here and trigger an edit save on all these records. Another feature that we have is a set external ID. So it is a user event script that lets you define a field to source into the external ID. We found this is very useful for doing accounting imports and things like that, where you can map to the external ID, but that may not necessarily be set. We have the name column mapped to our external ID, so that automatically gets populated. Another feature that we have that's pretty powerful is clear fields and file attachments on record copy. So what that allows me to do is, say on a vendor bill, so we see here this invoice attached, and what we found is it's just a lot of extra clicking to either remember to remove this. So what this then allows you to do is just create a copy of that record. And then it also will clear out fields. So if there's certain fields like the memo, maybe you want that cleared. So we see here that attachment is no longer there. Another feature that we have that's a utility feature is a delete button on record view. To delete, say, this bill, I'd have to go and edit the bill and then come here to actions and delete. And of course, we have to wait for all the loading and things like that. This lets me easily add a button, and it does honor the permissions of that user, either your admin or your system implementer. We'll just need to enable this for the specific record types that you want this to be available for. So now that I've enabled that for the vendor bill, I get this delete record button, and I get the nice little pop-up, are you sure you want to delete this record? Okay, and then just takes us back to the home page. The next feature I'd like to show is another utility feature, our execute scripts. So this is a nice feature if you find that you've had another vendor develop a solution for you that runs a scheduled script periodically, but maybe they also have the ability for you to kick it off when you want. We now have, as part of our toolkit, this execute script screen. It's going to show you all the scheduled and MapReduce scripts that you're able to execute. You can just pick which ones you want to run, click submit. In the background, that's going to throw those scripts into the queue to process. And then we can see here, I've submitted this one, this one, this one, and this one had an error. And that error was that it's already running. Our next feature that we have is our KES survey. This is also a premium feature. We found customers like to do simple surveys, so maybe support cases or at the end of an implementation. This just gives you a nice little survey inside of NetSuite so you can collect some of that data. Once you have your survey set up with your title, description, all that, your questions, and then the answers, it'll generate this URL. You can place this URL inside of an email template so that when NetSuite emails the customer, it knows to replace that entity ID with the ID of the customer record. So then each customer then would have a unique URL so that you're able to track responses by customer. So we'll pretend that this got sent to the customer, they click the link in their email to respond to the survey so they can rate their support, and we'll submit that here. If there's a HTML template that you want use, so you want it to look a little bit different, maybe branded more towards your organization. So once that survey has been submitted, we'll see that this customer then submitted the survey response. We can drill into it, and we can see it is tagged to that customer, and then we can see how they answered each question. And this can all be searchable as well, so if you want to put together some metrics on support feedback or any other survey that you create, that's available as well. And now, final feature I'd like to display here is our Save Search as a Service. This is a premium feature as well. So our customers need just a basic integration to get data out of NetSuite. And while that is doable with NetSuite standard web services and so forth. It can be a little daunting for another IT team that's maybe never worked with NetSuite. So what we've developed, you create a saved search, and that exposes that saved search as a web service based on this URL. Then whatever user is setting this up, what they're able to do then is have that search. This is the data that comes out so that it can be easily read into another system. And this is all very dynamic. And say there's another field that I want to add. We'll just add the status. So now with our saved search, you can see that we've added status in. And then if we come over here to our web service, so we refresh that, so we'll see that that status comes in. So it's a really powerful tool. It gives you the ability to easily add additional fields to the saved search, then that flow automatically over into that web service. And this also overcomes a limitation with standard NetSuite web services where formula fields are not available. And if at any time you need to disable it, say you created this for a specific integration and you're no longer doing that integration or no longer doing business with that vendor, and you just want to remove their access, but you still want to keep this record here, you just unenable it, and then they won't be able to access that endpoint anymore.